So one of the things I was thinking about you is like community, building community, whether it's with the clients you work with, your team, building your team, it's always community. So we'll definitely touch on that, but maybe take us like back to the beginning, because again, I don't think there's anybody in the history of mortgage that grew up saying, I want to be in mortgage, right? It's just not a thing. Like, tell us about your start.
I guess in 1997, I came out of college after the Marine Corps, and I didn't want to do B2B. It wasn't my thing. I'm a people person. I wanted to sell. I wanted to sell to people. I've always had a servant's heart. I wanted to help people, in not a cliche kind of way. I genuinely enjoy helping people, but I also like to make money. I enjoy making money and having nice things. So I looked around and I couldn't be an MD because of the whole MD thing. I didn't have that. So I got in the mortgage business, and I actually started my company with 25 grand that I saved, and I didn't know anything about the mortgage business. And my dad said, well, you don't even know anything about it. I said, I don't care. I'll figure it out. I'll start early, and I still get up at 4 a.m. and I still work till 8 or 9, and I do it 7 days a week, and I just figured it out. So I started hiring people. I ended up with 65 people and 5 offices, and that's how I got into it. It was subprime mostly, and I don't know if any of the older folks around here remember subprime, but that was a whole different ballgame, but we did a lot of that.
Yeah, subprime was big. There's a lot of subprimers in this audience. So community impact, right? We all saw the video, you're a veteran, but again, when I think about you and your entire team, like you really focus on not just the community, but serving veterans. Like, why is that so impactful to you, and maybe how does it show up in your business?
My grandfather was in World War II. He was in the service. My dad was a Marine for 20 years, and I grew up base to base, moving to different homes, and I knew what it was like to be stressed with a bunch of furniture packed, and you leave all your friends and you go to the next town, and Parris Island, and Woodbridge, Detroit. I was actually born in Detroit. Moving around, and I know what it's like for a family to have stress. So now, I see VA people, I'm on fire for them, because I know what it's like to be stressed with trucks packed. There's a truck packed right now. Someone's texted me, and I'm trying to help. It's hard for our veterans to move around, and it's scary. And someone hit it. It was Mildenhall this morning. It's not funny. Some of the TikTok things, and it's not funny. It's hard. It's scary for people buying a home, and I want to be there to save them. I want to be there to help them. So, yeah. And I mean that.
I think it goes to like we've had so many conversations about this, and it's not just the community, it's not just serving veterans, but you always put the client first, like always. So when I think about Tim Gentry, I think about integrity first and foremost. Heck, I've even pushed him recently. I'm like, hey man, you need to write some Earls. Like, we need to write some Earls. And Tim will say, hey, I'm not going to do it right now. Let the market settle a little bit more, so it's a little bit more valuable to the client. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. You're thinking of the client first. But again, like putting the client first, I'm sure you do have some examples of it. And then also, like, how does that show up for your team and your business?
Earls are funny, man. They're in many cases. In fact, I did a radio ad one time, and I said, call me. Let me tell you why you shouldn't refinance your Earl, or maybe you should, but let's talk about it. And the doctors have Hippocratic oath, and it's first do no harm. And what happens when that guy calls you and he says, hey, I want to these guys are telling me I need to refinance, I want to do an Earl, and I've talked to this guy and this guy, what's your price? Well, he's already sold. He just wants to know what my price, am I beating them? Well, I said, well, first, let's just see if it's worth it. Well, the other two guys said it was. I'm like, yeah, well, they're online meatheads, and let's do the numbers. I'm a veteran. I'm a Marine. I'm going to do the right thing. Let's look at it. And you look at it, and there's $6,000 in closing costs and $100 they're saving, and then no one asked the magic question is, hey, dude, when are you transferring? Oh, I transfer in 12 to 14 months. Well, then you need to run from me and the other two guys because you don't need to refinance, right? Unless it's going to be a no closing costs option, and then even then, it's just not worth it. And saying it's not worth it pays off because man, then their cousins start calling you from, we're licensed in other states, and they're calling and, hey, Jimmy said you would treat me right. Tell me why I shouldn't refinance, or tell me why I should. And then it's not a sales game. Then it's just the math. And on a side note, if you guys aren't working financial calculators and you can't do it better than anyone else, then get out of the business, because you need to understand the time value of money and make that work. It's not rocket science, right?
Yeah, so. It's just the old adage of, if you're doing good, you're going to do well, right? You do the one thing good by one person, you're usually going to get 10 more clients out of that.
Correct. Yeah.
Right? I think that's a perfect transition, because as we've gotten to know each other over the years, and you spent a lot of time up in Detroit. For clarity, he wasn't born in Detroit. He was born in Mount Clemens, but we adopted him as a Detroiter. It's okay. You're from the Clem. You love the isms. You talk about the isms all the time, right? How does that show up for you?
Man, the isms, game changer for me. I remember being in rehab and this guy telling me, it's there 10 months, and he said, I was bragging about, planes and things I owned and $1 million homes, and he was like, hey man, your best thinking got you in rehab. And that stirred me. I said, man, my best thinking caused me to lose my wife and kids, and I'm in rehab. So I came out of rehab with the attitude that if I go into the mortgage business, I'm going in with an attitude of humility and an attitude that, hey, there's a whole lot more people smarter than me. So where else do you go when to find smarter people in the United States is Rocket, right? They're the best, they're the biggest. So I started flying here. I even started flying my team to Detroit, and at my own expense. And I sat down with people like Nemec, and he's like, dude, go talk to the marketing team. So we would go talk to the marketing team, and I realized that if I just shut my mouth and talk to people like Samir, that guy was on stage, the guy's a genius. Talk to him and Iskander and Nemec and you and Fawaz. Fawaz is like a family member now. And it made me better. And just like I got better, became a better human, better spiritually, I became a better loan officer. That's why I said in my video, my prior mortgage self was just not the same. It wasn't about the money anymore, which is why I'm on fire for the isms, But coming here, if you guys don't do anything else, I came here this morning and I walked around and I felt like a preacher, because as I walked around and looked at the tables and I looked and I saw, there it is. There's the Bible. There's the mortgage Bible right there for you. And that's what a preacher would say is, okay, there's your Bible for your spiritual side, but for the mortgage side and all of you, that's your Bible, man. There's the stuff in there is real. It's real stuff that you integrate that into your lifestyle in the mortgage business, and we'll talk about that, but it's game changing. It's changed me. I'm hitting some pretty good numbers, and I think I'm usually in the top 10 nationally with Rocket. For VA, I think one year I was third.
Yeah.
And you don't get there without someone else teaching you to be better.
Yeah, I think one of the threads with everything with you, with integrity, how you do the right things by your clients. I'll go back to the isms too, and my favorite ism is always going to be do the right thing. To me, do the right thing is what every single ism ties back to, and that's the foundation it's on. And if you're always doing the right thing, you don't have to worry about anything else. Everything will fall into place at some point, and then now you're living your life with integrity, right? And to your point, again, if you haven't looked at the book, please look at it, take it home. Because again, these are things that not only does it start making sense with your business and helping your business, it now becomes part of your life. It's a big deal.
My favorite is it's not about who's right, it's about what's right. And even in my own organization, I'll tell you, I sit up here on stage and I get to spike the ball and score the touchdown, but that guy, stand up, Joe. Stand up.
Yeah, stand up.
This is my operations manager. Let's give him a round of applause. Because I'm here because of guys like him. I go to him and I'll say, dude, we're gonna go to Tennessee. He's like, slow down. Because I was the class clown. He was the most humorous. The most attractive in high school, and I was the class clown. So he's got to, reel me in. But I go to him sometimes, and he's like, no, that's not a good decision. And I'm like, well, okay, well, maybe you're right. And I listen to my top producer, Christy, over here, who's, I think we need to leave our comp alone. And so, hey, it's not about who's right. It's about what's right. And what's right is listening to people that maybe have a better, I'm in a fishbowl, right? I'm the leader. So sometimes slow down if you're a leader out there, listen to your people, because my millennials even, man, I call them if it's tech stuff, right? And I'm like, I'm just going to do what they say. I mean, we all know that, but that's a wonderful ism.
I love it. Let's talk about the future for a little bit. So think maybe, 12 months, 3 years, 5 years down the road. How do you see value-driven, community-driven decisions impact our industry?
I believe in my heart that wholesale is taking over. I think that retail is going away. As I look at my competitors in my general market, they're all flying back and forth between retail shops, trying to figure out who moved their cheese, and we stole their cheese. All of us stole it, but if they're listening, we did, because for the first time when Rocket got into this space, for the first time, not only did we have the better pricing, but we were able to piggyback their marketing. Ignore the noise. You hear people, oh, Rocket's going to steal my deals. I go in these website rooms, I flip on them, I look at them, I'm like, oh, these guys just don't get it, man. I mean, I call and I'm like, yeah, I'm a Rocket broker. In fact, I'm the top Rocket broker in Georgia. I brag on that so much because I want to associate with people that are bigger and stronger than I am. And we're going to take over this space with wholesale lending, but we also get their tech. I mean, you guys should bill me for tech. Don't really do it, but
let me make note of it right now.
You should, because we get to use tech. Loan Velocity could not afford the technology that Rocket affords us, man. And when you take a look at what we're able to do with some of this stuff, I mean, they're making it easier. I hang out with my wife every day. We hang out on our farm and we talk. I just talk on the phone and sell mortgages all day. And because of the technology, I mean, the technology now is just, I couldn't do it without them. And so where you ask me what's going to happen in 3 to 5 years, I think there's a mass exodus from retail shops. They're going to come over to guys like Danny and their company, and I probably won't ever be that big. I don't need to. I'm good where I am. I'm happy. But that's where I think it's going to happen. I think that the leadership team for Rocket Mortgage, the TPO side, is going to take over. And if you guys don't get on board with it in your little towns or your big towns, you're going to find out that you're going to get passed too, I believe. So.
Yeah, and I think you're going to get way more efficient with the technology, AI. That's all going to help, right? And you can either bring more time back in your life or grow your business, right? Two different roads. Maybe sometimes it's both. But it's still value-driven, community-driven. It's not transaction, right? You're just not thinking transactions. I'm going to have them bring up promise number 5 on the screen for us. And this is helping everyone home, means everyone. And I think this is everything we've talked about today for sure, you and I in this session. It's not just a line, it's how you lead, right? Making room for families and their communities, and trying to help them find their way home. And I just want to say, when I think about you, Tim Gentry, this is you. Helping everyone home means everyone. So I appreciate that about you. If there's one thing, because I know you're not good watching the clock, okay? So we're ending this in 1 minute, okay? If there's one thing that you want everyone to walk away with, what's the one thing?
Walk out here with your isms book and then go invest in yourself and spend money. My wife and I just spent the last 4 days, it wasn't a mortgage conference, we went to Necker Island, Sir Richard Branson's island, and I played Sir Richard Branson in chess, and I beat him. So it's public, I'm just let you guys know that. And hung out with John Elway and people like that. We spent the last 4 days hanging out with people that are so much more talented than me. And if you think that I may know something you don't, corner me tonight. I'll tell you. People want to tell you. They want to share their story. They want to help. I would say invest in yourself, spend the money, go find people that are more talented, and go find people that will help you and inspire you, and listen. Shut your mouth and listen to what they have to say. Go corner Danny, go corner Samir, go corner people that have done it because they want to help and I want to help. That would be my biggest piece of advice.
That's great. I'm going to selfishly ask for that too. If if anybody in this room doesn't have a relationship where I also have your face on socks or my face on socks, talk to me tonight during the reception. I would love that and get to know you better. Talk to this gentleman, wealth of knowledge. He'd love to talk to you. But a powerful closer for an amazing, impactful, powerful day. Thank you, Tim Gentry. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you so much.